So now on to radial surveys. Now to do radial survey questions, you have to have a really good knowledge of bearings because they go hand in hand with true bearings. Now let me give you an example of what a radial survey would look like. Now I know just looking at it, it looks pretty confusing, like what the heck is happening here, but to make things easier, this is what I want you to always do. Every time you have an origin point, so our origin over here would be O, right there, the red dot, I want you to straight away draw up a compass. So do you remember where this sounds like? Exactly like with true bearings. Draw up a compass at every single point. But with radial surveys, I only really need a compass drawn up at the origin. Okay, so that will be the first thing that you guys should be doing. Now, let's actually have a look at what's happening at the point of origin. If I have a look at point A right there, now it's saying, and it has like a little 3 digits after it. I'm pretty sure you guys probably would have guessed what it is. That's the bearing. So in other words, the bearing of A from O is going to be 36 degrees. So what that means is from here to here would be 36 degrees. Okay, good. Let's have a look at the point B. Point B is 157 degrees. Okay, so what that means is from north all the way up until I hit that line, that's going to be 157 degrees. So now if I was to analyze this a little bit, right? Well, if the whole thing was 157 and we know that this is always going to be 90 degrees, what would this angle over here be? That's right. It's just going to be 157 minus the 90, which is going to give us 67 degrees. Let's keep going on to point C. That says that is going to be 260 degrees. So I'm pretty sure you guys would have guessed it already. From north all the way up until point C right there, that's right, it's going to be 260 degrees. So let's analyze it a little bit. If that's 260 degrees, what would this angle over here be? Well, that's the same as saying 260, and I'm getting rid of the 180 degrees. So I'm getting rid of all of this here, which is 180 degrees. So it's going to be 260 minus 180, which is going to give us 80 degrees right there. Cool. Let's have a look at point D. It says it's 344 degrees. So in other words, from our origin all the way up until point D, that's going to be 344 degrees. So if I was to ask you, what would this angle over here equal to? Well, that's just going to be the whole thing, which is 360, and I'm getting rid of the 344 part. So that's going to be 360 minus 344, and that's going to be 16 degrees. Okay, so remember how I said the first thing, draw up the compass at the origin. So where you're starting from, that's the first thing. The second thing, I think you guys would have noticed already, what I'm doing is I'm finding all the angles on the inside. So far I've got 36 there, I've got 67, I've got 80 degrees, I've got 16. Now what I want you guys to do, in majority of the radial survey questions, straight away find out all the angles that we have. All the inside angles. So for example, let's start off from north going clockwise, right? We said that was 36 degrees right there. What would this angle over here be? Well, that's just going to be 90 minus 36, which would equal to 54 degrees right there. Cool. Now from there to there was 67. What would this angle there be? Well, again, that's just going to be 90 minus the 67, which will give us 23 degrees. Having a look at the next quadrant, what would that angle right there be? Well, if that was 80 degrees, there's only 10 left over, so that's going to be 10 degrees right there. How about from here to here? Well, if from there to there was 16, the leftover is just going to be 90 minus 16, which would equal to 74 degrees right there. Okay, so as you can see again, it's pretty messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up again, and I'm going to redraw it, and I'm going to put in all the angles that I've just figured out. And there you go. So all I've done is I've written down all the angles And now I'm actually ready to do the question. Now, another thing that the question will also have is the lengths of all of these sides. And there you go. The proper question would actually look something like that. So the first step was draw up the compass. Second step was find all the angles on the inside. And now you're actually ready to start tackling the question.